So here it is, the review of Collision in Korea. All around, very interesting episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Very Twilight Zone-like. I could totally see Rod Serling talking about this. Like, imagine a man who wishes to crush his competition and does it by creating one of the largest attended wrestling shows. But all the while, he's in a communist country, anti-American, and yet the country itself, the men of the red, white, and blue, still come to blows. All this and more will be found in the Twilight Zone. And that's probably one of the main things that I found the most fascinating. Because even Too Cold made it perfectly clear, like Hawk, we can't be doing this. Like, why are we doing this, man? The North Koreans don't like us because we're Americans. And yet, you're saying all this, even, we're having this bout, we're having this fight, even though we're Americans, and once again, we're in a country right now that's very communist and very anti-American, and yet we're being anti-American towards each other. I mean, what's going on, man? Even though I obviously far from condone talking the way that Too Cold Scorpio was talking to Hawk, or let alone especially condoning Too Cold Scorpio just being like, I'm gonna murder this guy. I'm going to stab him. And with Chris Benoit, who was his roommate at the time, being the peacemaker and telling him, don't do it. Which, to me, if I could be a little bit biased here, and you're definitely probably gonna talk about how you think about what I'm saying in the comments below, I can only imagine. But that moment just, to me, proves that Benoit was not a monster like people make him out to be. He was a peaceful man. He is a peaceful man. He just was in a very dark period of time, and he made a terrible mistake. But all around, great guy. So, going beyond that, how interesting is it that we are in a point in time where so many people are saying, and these people specifically being those that have either been in the wrestling business for 30 to 40 years or have watched it for 20 to 30 years, saying nobody reacts to wrestling like they used to, nobody watches it like they used to. And you go back to 1995, the Collision in Korea pay-per-view, and you have the highest attended audience, even more than WrestleMania, and nobody is making any sort of reaction except for when Antonio Inoki was getting some offense in on Ric Flair. Other than that, silent, dead silence. No cheers for Benoit and Scorpio, no cheers for Scott Norton, no cheers for Hawk. Only when it was Ric Flair and Antonio Inoki, and only when Inoki was getting offense in on Ric did the crowd start cheering. That's unbelievable. That's something you definitely would not see in America at the time, and definitely not today. Even today, if that were to happen, if that many people in America were there, they would have at least found some way to cheer for all the matches, or at least the majority. But a great episode nonetheless, and of course I can't forget learning about how Muhammad Ali was not only, of course, as we all know, a boxing legend, let alone one who attended the collision in Korea, because he also wanted to create peace, but he was also a magician, something that I never really knew about, and I would just love to come across an interview where he talks about what exactly was going through his head at that time to make him just all of a sudden just take the coat off, just run up the stairs, and then just start shadow boxing like it's like he's in his prime again. I mean, I'm not even that big of a boxing fan, and I am impressed and just find that inspiring. And I almost see it as just a message of even how in the worst circumstances, even this is going to be a little bit cliche, we are all Americans, and at the end of the day, we're all people, and we can get through anything. It was very fascinating, and it's probably one of my favorite Dark Side of the Ring episodes. And I hope you all enjoyed this review. Shout out to Jared Wallace, who told me that he enjoys my wrestling reviews. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, because I've mostly made a lot of random videos for now. Not exactly anything in particular. And as far as like wrestling reviews, I can only think about sometimes going into the comments of like Cornette's videos and or just wrestling videos in general and just putting in my 2 cents. But that is a interesting and a good idea that I definitely believe in trying to continue doing, and that is make actual wrestling videos and not just random ones. After this, I will then talk about the A&E Shawn Michaels special, and that'll probably that'll probably be it until next time. Thank you.